Now, another thing I want to point out, this is more predominant in meat eaters, is the acid-alkaline balance. We know that the optimal pH, blood pH now, I don't mean body pH, but blood pH is 7.46. And that research was done at UCLA by, I think, Dr. Watson. And I find that a significant amount of meat eaters are way too acid. And acidity in the blood is connected with paranoia, schizophrenia, neurosis, stupor, lethargy, and slow-functioning mind. Now, that's just the mental. So now, am I saying that all meat eaters are stupid? I'm not saying that. I'm saying acidity is associated with those qualities, and a much higher percentage of meat eaters will be more acid in their blood. That's just what it is. And optimum is 7.46. German, which are heavy meat eaters, their statistics show that the normal is 7.35. That's, if I see a person like that, they're in trouble. But I'm saying they see it's normal, and it's like, that's what you see. There is a lot more acidity with that. Now, there's another side of the story. The other side of the story is you can get too alkaline. And when I began to get into this thing, I'm looking at the people, and I think the Ann Wigmore folks have changed, but in the late 70s, early 80s, a lot of people were alkaline, and alkalinity can create you to be quite ungrounded and quite anxious and not so mentally clear. And again, people have glomped on that, happened 20 years ago, and say, oh yeah, that's true for all vegetarians. It just isn't true. It isn't true. So when somebody's saying they're all nutcases, as one person said, they're not really looking at kind of the reality that that can happen to both sets. But I'm just going to read, if I can find it, the amount of people, and I'm not finding it, the great beings out there. So let's start with Moses. Let's start with Jesus. Let's start with Pythagoras, Tolstoy, Leonardo da Vinci, Einstein. These guys aren't nutcases, okay? Let's get clear. These are great, brilliant leaders. These are all vegetarian or plant source only people. And the list is very long, but I'm making a point when people are saying all vegetarians are nutcases. This is a gross distortion of historical reality. And so I think the point's made without me kind of doing necessarily the whole list, but I did find it. Plato, Socrates, St. Francis of Assisi, Martin Luther started Lutheranism, Isaac Newton, the great physicist, and also Kabbalist, Voltaire, John Wesley, Ben Franklin, Emerson, Thoreau, Susan B. Anthony, Henry Ford, Gandhi, and so these are great people. Are they nutcases? So when people make that statement, what are you doing? Let's relate to historical reality and not your fantasy. Okay? So I'm going to go on with my story, but I've told a lot of the big story, and I'm kind of weaving in it because the great debates, which is about 8 debates, which weren't really debates, just people stating, really didn't touch on some of those issues as well. So now we've covered the mental health issue, we've covered acid-alkaline base, we've covered the deficiency kind of basis.